Sonic forces me to make a beginning video. Sonic and I have a very silly, goofy connection. Got in the series with Jens, appreciated it more with SA2, and left the series with the bane of my existence. And I have never realized how much this game shifted my judgment on Sonic. First playthrough, I sat there and pondered how they even released this and were proud of themselves. I was 11. This was a pretty big, it's a very big thought for me at the time. I got the game on Christmas Eve, finished it the same night, went downstairs in my bathroom and said, that was the most video game I have ever played. Sean, shut the fuck up. Your parents are trying to fucking sleep. I second guessed my liking towards Sonic that night. Thought to myself, maybe I'm not gonna be a man-child whining about the series online. I need to find a new hobby. The game trailers made it look way more badass, but only to find out it's just as bad. I remember that Nintendo Life video where bro was like, yeah, Sonic Forces, yeah, it's trash, bro. Everyone dislike bombed the video, like, dude, this is just a classic cook who hated every 3D Sonic game. And the sad part was, we doubted him. But I played this game at least once, and I made a video on it, but I think it's time I give this game a third chance. So, after a 2-hour session and a little bit of hornitos, what's my final verdict? Sonic Forces is a competent and polished video game that had 3 years of drawing out cool ideas, but realized they only had 1 year of development left, and the parent company nearly went bankrupt after yanking Sonic's limbs and giving him a scarf, so they cut their already smaller budget even smaller, and now we got a competent game that butchered 11-year-old Sleater's expectations because all the trailers made it seem cool, but it ended up just being Sonic Generations, but everything's on fire with some jackal who kills Sonic. Sonic Forces is the most nothing game I've ever played. Even if I had some fun with it, the entire package is so forgettable and laughable. I swear to God, the innovative ideas could be counted on one hand with some fingers that fell off. Like 2. It's such missed potential after missed potential. It's you kind of just get frustrated with playing it. I love the ideas of evil and fucked up versions of old levels because it would be so cool if they were actually evil and fucked up. Uninspired level themes. Levels so linear, they make level linear game design I kind of butchered that. Invisible walls that kill a claustrophobe. Controls so bad a 10-year-old video game camp member could easily make it better. And it all accumulates into the marination of one of the saddest Sonic games ever. At least series lows have something of substance. How do you make a game so forgettable be so easy to rag on? Eggman hates Sonic. I don't know, man. That seems pretty out of character. So instead of creating something to kill Sonic, he hires a hitman. He actually did this in Lost World. He actually hired 6 that time, but he brainwashed him, so this one's more legal as hiring a hitman is. But to finally take over the green and blue world, Eggman must use the red diamond play button. You know, those Mania spoilers really got to me because it was really surreal seeing that Mania was actually just going to be an interquill to Forces. What's that? You don't know what an interquill is? Well, I'm not explaining it to you. Get someone else to do it.
Greetings once again, friends. And for newcomers, I'm the Encyclospeedy Lad. An interquill is an installment in a series of works set chronologically between 2 of its predecessors. Mania is the canonical predecessor of Sonic Forces, while also being a successor to those classic, high-speed, side-scrolling action platformers on the Genesis. Thank you for joining me, friends, and once again, stay sharp.
Swear to God, me and that dude were just talking about how he wouldn't pay the actors on strike. Like, I disagree, but hey, you gotta keep the peace in the studio, you know what I mean? Okay, but all of that aside, I'm gonna stand by my claim and say Forces was the foundation of a great Sonic story, butchered by god-awful writing. Sonic stories really took a back seat during the 2010s. Colors had that Baldy McNose hair shit. Generations had a story, but you just gotta, come on, you just gotta look, you just squint. If you squint, you'll see it. Lost World is just terrible. And then Forces tries to be the most ambitious story-wise, but then it ends up being the most unambitious, played-safe apocalypse game ever. Writing's so bad, I can't even trust Wikipedia anymore. The joke is that the writers of Colors and Forces used Wikipedia to look up Sonic info because they knew absolutely nothing about Sonic. Also, there's just some whack-ass writing choices.
And Tails has just lost it.
Finally, a Sonic character I can relate to.
He's captured in the orbiting prison. My spy there says he's in a solitary confinement cell, and they've been torturing him for months.
With what, boredom?
There's sand everywhere. Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill right now.
Couldn't have said it any better, my friend. Look, I could give less of a shit about a green checkerboard area, but Christ, at least innovated a little bit. You played Green Hill 5 whole times, there's nothing standing out from any of them. Giant worms? Oh no, want me to ruin your day? I saw a beach worm.
What's crack-a-lackin'? This is Sonic the Hedgehog. Ooba-dooba.
Kill yourself.
If you say so.
I do genuinely like the city backdrop. I love this being the first showcase of gameplay because it was so linear and easy. Everyone's like, oh, they said it's only the first level. You dumbass, it's the 15th. And then I kind of forgot the rest of the levels. There's this Metropolis and the Metropolis, and then that one level that's all downhill. That's actually pretty fun. It's one of the best levels of the game. It's all 3D. There's branching paths. Actually, it was pretty damn good. You ever play Sonic Adventure and say there's not enough automation? Well, boy, do I have the game for you. A lot of levels have a ton of scripted segments that just kind of reinforce the idea that this game's supposed to be cinematic, but it flops so hard I couldn't even mention the fact it's trying to be cinematic because I forgot that it was supposed to be cinematic. Like these QuickTime events, as much as I think the QuickTime events are kind of stupid, they're really cinematic and they're actually pretty cool. It doesn't really get rid of the fact that there's a little gameplay going on. Sonic will turn by himself whenever he feels like it, I guess. Just don't turn for me here, that's whatever. Boost pads will boost you forward without even touching it. For beginners, I mean, I get it. Like, you could have done this for like any other backdrop, but you made it the apocalyptic game where it was like, oh dude, Eggman's gonna fucking kill everyone this time. Isn't this a guy that shattered the earth for some big ass alien? And then we killed him with an apartment complex. Like, oh no, the world's on fire. Oh god, let's get resistance on this bitch. I mean, yeah, automation is needed for a lot of Sonic segments. A lot of 3D fan games actually kind of suffer with that fact because a lot of the Sonic 3D fan games kind of answer the fact that, oh yeah, Sonic's automated, so let's just add literally no automation ever. Which really just, it doesn't really... yeah, you kind of understand what I'm trying to say here. Gameplay split up into 4. Sonic just boosts gameplay, but they designed it with the Wii remote thinking it's going to be on the Wii, but then ended up checking the clock. They realized it's actually not 2010, and Sonic Colors was already out, so they had to improvise. At worst, it's boring. At best, it's actually kind of fun. Like, what the fuck happened here? 10 the Avatar. Very similar to Sonic, but instead of holding X, you hold R. They did this so you don't get too comfortable holding X. For the first time in the series since Shadow, his gun. Actually, it's called a Wispin, using Wisp power. Seeing a Wisp in a Sonic game is like seeing a coworker you see every day at the grocery store and they're like, oh my god, hi, what's going on? And all you can think to do is just sit there and stare because it's not like you see him one time. You see him every day. Just let me use a Glock. Actually, I think these are kind of funny use. The Fire Wispin's kind of boring. It's like the boost because you hold the button and everything in front of you dies, but you're slow. And it's kind of boring. I think I already mentioned that. The Lightning Wispins, I let you light dash because why give that to Sonic, you know, one of his signature moves. There's the Drill, which is actually pretty fun to use, especially when you're trying to cheese levels. There's also Block an Asteroid, which why the hell would you use that? And Classic Sonic. Wow. What a view. Classic Sonic's just there. He serves literally no plot relevance except to make Tails exclaim true that and then to kill off any Sonic Adventure fan's interest in the game. Also, his levels make Sonic 4 actually look like a good successor to Sonic 3. Alright, that's a stretch.
Who talk is shit to you, Super? Where's my classical momentum? Why am I not allowed to be able to go down the hill and build up an...
I'm sorry, I'm sick, but like this whole section was about the part where Sonic would like go down a slope and then go back up the half pipe and then it wouldn't like but actually I'm kind of more curious about this now. Like how did this make it past testing?
Easily the worst part of the game, and the music doesn't even make up for it. Because damn, this soundtrack's pretty damn good. I really fuck with Fist Bump and Infamous theme and a lot of the orchestral stuff like the title screen and world map, this is pretty damn good. Sonic's stuff is where the OST's kind of like this is where it's the best, honestly. A lot of the complaints go to the synth, and while the synth is kind of, I mean, it's nicknamed the Forces synth for a reason. I think really it comes down to the issue that Sonic sound designers just can't use FL Studio to save their life. I see me dog on Sonic 4's OST, but a pretty cool composer actually showed off that if you just use it in the right way, the instruments actually work. I think Forces has a similar problem where it's not the instruments that are the issue, it's the way they're used. Sonic tracks are very J-Rock inspired, and this one Wiener track I really like has the rock, the synth, and the good that a lot of Sonic tracks have. I think the synth's just overused, and if it was toned down a little for some tracks, I think it'd be a lot more appreciated, because tracks that don't really focus on the synth are so good, man. Classic stages, yeah, that's just like, there's no requirements. Avatar's music's alright, though. That Avatar edited music, god damn, is that a bop. The music itself, you like cyberspace music? It's like that, but more forgettable. And that's it. Tails says true dat, and the credits roll with 3 level designers. I really expected a lot more from this game when it was first revealed. My ass was really expecting the greatest Sonic game ever. That marketing made it really look like it was so much cooler and badass, but Sonic Forces is now a game universally hated by most Sonic fans. And while it's not the worst video game you could ever play, it kind of deserves it for being an expectation killer. This is the holy grail of mediocrity. It really left a reputation with it, making literally everyone lose faith in this blue guy over here, and having writing so f***ed, they had to make damage control. That's all I gotta say about it. Light 5.5. So join me next time on the Big Sleeter Show where I get my very own 54 on Metacritic. Isn't this a big old wonder? I kind of deserve it.